All right, good morning, everybody. It is Jay again, and it is currently December here in Phoenix, Arizona. And man, have we had the rain this year. I swear this has been, well, it's been the rainiest year since I've been alive or since I've been living here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we have gotten the rain this year, which is really, really great because it has made our plants just explode and look really, really good, especially when it's starting to cool down, because a lot of the plants are going to start to look a little raggedy here soon, right? So what is today's video, or what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about 5 fruit trees that look pretty good all year long, okay? And what is so important about having fruit trees look good all year long, right? Well, it's a little bit of a self-esteem thing, I guess, guys, right? Because you always want your plants and your yard looking good at all periods of the year, and it's very hard to get that look because either things are going to burn up a little bit in the summer, or they're going to go to sleep and go dormant, go deciduous in the winter, so they're not going to have any leaves or look good or green during the winter. Those particular plants are going to be stick figures, right? And so if you were using something like, let's say, pomegranates for a privacy screen, well, for at least a month and a half there in the winter, you are not going to have a privacy screen, because a lot of these, you can see, are hitting their fall color and starting to defoliate, which is actually good because it is December, like I said, and right around December 20th is when we start to get really cold. So that's when a lot of the leaves should be off the trees, or a lot of the trees should be dormant, okay? So you're gonna have this sort of mixed bag look, especially if you've got a lot of these particular trees planted right next to each other. You're gonna have a lot of those trees naked and not looking so good. Meanwhile, if you've got a bunch of evergreens, then those are gonna start to look really good this time of the year, because this is their season and time for them to look really, really great. So it's more or less a matter of, it's really nice to keep some plants looking good in your yard all year long, okay, guys? And so we're going to be going over 5 of those so that you can plant those and have those, like I said, looking good for your own yard. Wow, it's really looking good around here. Look how green everything is this time of the year. You really don't get that in the summer. A lot of this stuff actually kind of yellows out a little bit, and you get a lot of chlorosis happening in the summer, while as once we get the cooler weather right now, look, putting on figs, these things should be completely dormant, right? But it's such nice weather here. You've got things growing like this fig, putting on figs, meanwhile going dormant, right? So you've got all these yellow leaves that are turning solid yellow and starting to fall off of these trees. So you have literally trees going dormant right next to trees that are active, right? So it's really nice, like I said, to have things looking good all year. So let's start here with number 1. All right, so number 1 is going to be the almighty olive tree, right? These trees are absolutely amazing for the desert or for the valley. These trees are always looking good, always have new growth on them, always super dark green, lush, thick. You can see that these have really nice thick foliage on them. And the fruit, like I said, the fruit, these are just absolutely covered in olives. And this is actually in the worst spot of my entire yard. So this is right here by the street. This gets no shade other than, I guess, right now in the winter from this big white lead tree. But you can see that this has gotten quite large right out here on the front of the property. This pole right here is probably right about 10 foot. So you can see he's much larger than that. And I just kind of keep him narrow like a little column here. And he shoots up here, and in the summertime is when he's the most valuable, because that is when the sun is straight overhead. It is not like it is now, where it is over here on this side of the sky. It's going to be more or less straight overhead. So what this tree does is it protects everything on this entire row as we go down with its shadow. So it casts a good shadow all the way down to, say, right about here where the house starts. So it gives really, really, really good shade. And like I said, it's bulletproof. It barely gets any water. It's on the very, very end of the line. So it barely gets anything. And it just looks just amazing all year long. This is one of those trees where if you kill an olive tree, you should give up gardening. Now, I know a lot of people don't plant these anymore, or plant these here in the valley, but it's like, man, you want to talk about one of the easiest fruit trees. I mean, there's an olive mill here as well where they process olives. So this is one of the most successful evergreen, beautiful looking plants all year long, is going to be the olive. And I grow a lot of these actually, and they grow really well in pots. So remember, guys, you can have a lot of these fruit trees in pots if you don't have the room necessarily to plant them in the yard, right? Got a nice big one right here, and this is a 25-gallon pot, and you can see this olive goes up and actually touches the bottom of my house here. So once they start becoming this size, they'll start to fruit for you really heavily. But like I said, this is one of the easiest, most bulletproof plants you could possibly plant in the desert. Is going to be an olive. All right, let's head on back here to the next one. The next one is one that used to get planted here quite a bit, actually, in the valley, and you don't see them a lot anymore, and that's because they're slow growing, expensive, and generally you need a male and a female, but there are self-fertile varieties of this tree as well, which is what this one is back here. But the next one on the list is going to be the carob tree. And the carob tree is a very large shade tree. These trees get absolutely enormous. And this is a very young tree, and you can see he is already at least, let's call it 20 feet. 20 feet tall. And I've got him actually planted back here in the concrete. We cut a section out of the concrete and we put one of those metal grates, and so he actually serves as really good protection for some of the smaller plants back here in the nursery. He really kind of helps them out. Now this tree is absolutely beautiful. The leaves, I love the way that a carob tree looks. Absolutely beautiful leaves. Oftentimes has red stems. But this is an evergreen, and they look good all year long, provide nice deep shade. And then of course they provide the pod, which is an alternative to chocolate. So let me see if I can get in here to the fruit, because he is loaded, completely loaded this year with flowers and fruit. There's going to be quite a few. It's absolutely covered. Every stem is like that. So carob, guys, carob tree is going to be number 2 on the list. They look absolutely spectacular all year long, can take our heat, have these nice kind of like cardboard feeling leaves, which is what protects them. They are in new growth right now because we have cooled down. So they are actively growing and actively fruiting. So man, I really love the olives, and I really love the carobs. And of course, those are 2 well-known desert plants. All right, so sticking with the theme of some of those larger trees that are gonna do really well in the desert and produce good fruit and look good all year long is going to be the Indian thornless jujube. And I'm going to show you one right here in a pot because I'm right next to one, because a lot of people don't believe you can grow things in pots here. So I try to have examples of them in pots, obviously, and in the ground as well. So this is a 15-gallon pot. Okay, and he goes way up here. Got him strapped to this pole, actually, to support him, because they tend to be a little bit floppy and the trunk's not quite so strong until they get a little bit older. I'll show you one I've got here in the front yard that I've got planted, and they are also, as you can see, putting on their flowers and their fruit. So those are the little jujubes, if you guys can see them. And see, what's nice, like I said, is right now all these not only look good, but they're all in fruiting mode, right? Because we've cooled down quite a bit. So let's jump up front here and we'll look at one of these other ones. It's not that old, but we can still take a look. All right, so it is getting really dense out here. It is getting really dark. It doesn't seem like it probably on the video here, but man, it is really dark because you've got the sun at such an angle in the sky. Okay, so I've got another one over here. This one I planted, I believe, this one was planted last year. And you can see that this one also looks really good after making it through just a couple summers out here. Nice green glossy leaves, right? Some fruit. But it's the dark green glossy leaves that I really like on these. And you can kind of see he's grown up there and kind of drooping over the, this is taller than me, so let me get under it here. And you can see I've got him kind of tied to all kinds of things because, like I said, they don't really get good strength till they're a little bit older. But you can see he kind of bows over the fence here, reaching for the sun. And eventually this will be a really good sized shade tree underneath this this larger tree, this white lead tree that I have above it. It'll kind of fill in this medium area underneath this tree here, giving me some good shade on the house in the summer, because this is the western side and this is the worst, definitely the worst side of it. So yeah, guys, jujube is going to be number 3. Indian Thornless. There are other varieties of jujube. They are going to go deciduous. That's going to be like the Lee and the Lang, the honey jar. All those are going to go deciduous, and they're quite a bit more thorny. This has some thorns, but they're very, very small and kind of hard to find. They're actually at each leaf junction, you'll have a little thorn. But it's nothing like the thorns on a like a Chinese jujube. Those are absolutely full of thorns, but for good reason. It does protect those trees. All right, guys, so number 3 is going to be Indian Thornless jujube. These look good pretty much all year long. All right, so next up is going to be citrus. And guys, we are the citrus state. Look at the size of these limes. Can't even pick up the branches half the time because they weigh so much. For example, this one little branch right here has, well, at least 11 fruits on him, and those fruits are all huge. I mean, these are huge. Huge for limes. And the tree is just absolutely covered with them. Oh man, I don't know how they make it. Look at all the fruit on these trees. They're just absolutely soaked in fruit. Oh man, that branch is full too. Wow. Look at that. Guys, we are the citrus state, and you should be getting citrus like this. You should have a lot of fruit. And what's funny about this is we've already actually eaten half the fruit off of this tree. This happens to be a sweet lime. So this is basically, let's call it a lime crossed with an orange. You can make limeade with this. It has no sour at all. It's just super sweet. You can make limeade without sugar. This is actually one of my favorite citrus, and they grow like a weed. You can almost not kill them once they're established. So key word there is once established, right? So what do citrus require? Citrus require a lot of water really to stay green. You don't even really have to feed them. I suggest you feed them if you want fruit like that, but you don't have to feed them. You'll get less fruit, of course, and they'll be smaller, and they are not going to taste as good. So yeah, I would advise definitely feeding your citrus as well. But they need a lot of water, and way more than people think. And as long as you've got good drainage, this is also a tree that really saves a lot of the tropical trees, because these transpire and put off so much water that it keeps most of the rest of the yard looking good and green, nice dark green, because this is how your leaves should look, especially your citrus. And you don't see this a lot here. A lot of the times they're veiny, no nutrients, salt burn. It's very easy, I guess, to go astray with citrus. But like I said, once you get going and once you get good at it, it is going to be one of the better looking plants in your yard all year long. Plus, just like I said, the incredible amount of fruit that we get off of these little trees. Little kumquats, meatle kumquats. And these are potted trees, so I mean, imagine what they look like in the ground. Well, I showed you one. Let's go over here and look at this cutie mandarin. Not so cutie anymore. I'm not sure what happened, but the fruit have gotten absolutely enormous. Let me see if I can even hike this branch up here. Hoot. All right, so these mandarins have gotten enormous. These are tangos. These are cutie mandarins. And they are absolutely ginormous this year and look really good. I mean, that's a beautiful fruit and a beautiful tree. Look at the skin on the fruit, right? Now, they're not all that big, but a good portion of them are. And they're starting to kind of bow all the branches down, which actually looks kind of neat because it's over my little walkway here. So that looks like little Christmas ornaments hanging down. Aren't those pretty? Yeah, the branches like arch over, and then it provides your beautiful little mandarins. Wow, those are pretty. All right, guys, yeah, definitely citrus. And can they look bad? Yes, they can look bad, right? And it really comes down to water on those guys. So that's more of a simple fix, let's call it. But I've got quite a few citrus in the yard, and they are very easy, like I said, and they look good most of the year. Some pomelos. Oh yeah. Jeez, you barely pick a lot of this stuff up. These branches, I don't know how they make it. Oh, they're just straining. Oh, just straining, right? Okay, guys, so citrus, that's number 4 on my list. All right, number 5 on my list is going to be kind of a combination of some sapotes, okay? And I know that might not be exactly fair because these are all in different families. All these sapotes are in different families, but I kind of group them together as these look good pretty much all year long, nice and evergreen, as long as they get good water, okay? So the first one is right here. This is going to be the black sapote, or chocolate persimmon, and this is going to be an evergreen persimmon, and these have nice big glossy green leaves. These actually look really good. And then the fruit is going to be a lot like a persimmon with a little bit of mocha and coffee flavor. So the fruit is really good on these, and they're really productive. You can see by all the stems here from the fruits, previous fruits, and then you've got the current fruits here coming on here. These will be ready soon. And like I said, this is also always looks good. This is one of my favorite looking trees. And I know he's kind of hard to see because he's stuffed kind of underneath this African tulip tree, but he's a pretty good size. He's about 15 foot to the top. I can see some fruit up there at the top. So I know that that's still that tree. So this is really, really good looking tree. Okay, now let's walk right next to this and let's look at the white sapote. This is another sapote. And he just got done fruiting. This put on lots of fruit this year. And they're going to be a yellow fruit that is sort of soft like an avocado and sweet, very, very, very sweet. They're described very much like a sweet pear in my opinion. And you can see that he is literally covered with blooms again. So this tree just fruited, and now it is putting on millions and millions of flowers. So as soon as it got done fruiting, here we go again. And now these fruit will sit on there for an entire year until next year when you eat them, and then the process starts all over again. But man, yeah, he is covered, absolutely covered. And you'll find that this is one of those careful what you ask for trees where they produce way, way more than you think that they're going to. And this is a pretty good sized tree too. And they look, like I said, look good all year long. That's sort of the qualification for this video. And he's tall too. He's way up there at that at least 15-foot mark as well. So he is big and good looking right next to the chocolate persimmon. And then you turn right around here and we've got the chiku persimmon, or the chiku sapote, which is going to be the third of the sapotes. And this tree is also absolutely loaded with fruit pretty much all the time. If you look at all of his branches, these are his new little fruits. So much so that it'll start to drag all these branches down to the ground. And this is also a really good sized tree. If I can back up a little bit here. Here's the power line right here. So you can see he's made it up to like the second power line level. So this chiku is pretty good size now and looks good all year long. Just beautiful foliage and nice thick foliage, and that's why he looks so good year long, is because he has so many leaves. This tree is really thick. I mean, look at the amount of leaves it has, right? So this is what keeps this tree alive and looking good all year long, is it shades itself really well. And I've got quite a few of these trees because I really like the way that this tree looks, and so I wanted to put them on every corner of the property. So here's another one here. And this is actually underneath a mulberry tree. And you can see he is starting to flower and bloom as well. And these are super, super productive. And there's at least a couple more of these I want to show you. Let's go take a look at those as well. All right, so everyone sees this one and thinks it's in a planter, but it's not. It's actually planted in the ground. We cut a hole in the cement there to put him in right here by the front. But this particular chiku only gets afternoon sun. He gets beat up in the middle of the summer because the sun comes in this direction. And this tree always looks good. And like I said, it comes down to that thick leaves, all these leaves that kind of keep this tree alive. And real soon here, he should be blooming. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's got some little blooms on him. So he will be fruiting here real soon. And this is a really pretty plant because he fills the kind of the corner of the yard right here. And he is now officially the height of the house, if not a little bit taller. So this one looks really, really, really good. Let's go take a look at another one that I've got up front here. Okay, and this is another big one. You can tell I really like these, and I really like the fruit because I have so many of these planted. We didn't even go over all of them, but he's nice height as well. Okay, there's my house here, nice height, nice thick foliage, beautiful green, glossy. Always looks good. Ooh, the smell out here. What am I smelling? Oh, I'm smelling that Buddha's hand. All right, that's what I'm smelling. I was wondering what that fragrant smell out here was. These little Buddha hands. Wow, they are fragrant. They're the Chernobyl. There are Chernobyl citrus. This is called a Buddha's hand, and actually this is a really funny plant because this is the fruit that actually got me into my career that I am currently in. Is all due to the cool way that this fruit looks. These little Buddha hands, they look like little ghosts, right? So that's what I'm smelling. All right, guys, so that is going to be the end of this video, but we're going to do a little bonus. We're going to go in and I'm going to cut myself some, clip myself off a couple bananas because they are finished or ready for the year. Let's go grab a couple of those. All right, so let's come in here and pick some bananas. And I guess bananas theoretically, if you had the room in your yard, which I am out of room in my yard, theoretically is also one of those that you can keep looking good all year long because they've got these big, beautiful green leaves, but these tend to fry a little bit and turn yellow in the summer. And so I've got some in here in a pot, and that's another thing is people don't think that these will fruit in pots. I've got a 25 gallon pot here with a mom and then a pretty good sized pup growing in here with this one. But you can see mom here has a nice bunch of bananas here. So I am going to grab one of these. I'm going to grab probably this one here. Oh my gosh, watch. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Just super easy release. Oh my gosh, look, it's peeling itself. Oh my gosh, the smell. Oh man. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one, guys. I don't know if I advise growing your own bananas because really once you eat homegrown bananas, the store-bought bananas are going to be like potatoes and you are not going to enjoy those, whereas the homegrown ones, these things pretty much taste like vanilla ice cream. If I put this in the freezer just for a few minutes and get this out, this will taste exactly like ice cream or sherbet. And look how thin that skin is. Do you guys see that? Look at that. Look at that. It's just barely on there. That is not like peeling a banana. And just creamy. Watch, I can kind of crush some of it and kind of show you guys. Oh my gosh, this is going to taste like vanilla ice cream. I already know. Oh goodness. Oh man. That is probably the best banana that I've ever had. And not because oh my gosh. All right, guys, I'm going to end this video and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this banana. This is amazing. Please leave a like and add your subscription there if you'd like to see more of these videos. It's been a minute since I've uploaded some videos, but we've been busy. Which I guess is really a good thing, but a little too busy to upload some videos, so hopefully I'll get some more on here pretty soon. All right, guys, that is it. Leave a like for me, and thank you for watching.